понял? Сотри. Сотри, Саня.
Просто навод, да? А, вперед, да. Как пружин, понял.
Усик закінчує своє тренування працею на борцівській резині. Таким чином він вітає всіх нас з Міжнародним днем боротьби. Так, але це ж вже такий снаряд далеко не борцівський. Всі єдиноборці його дуже...
Dubois and Usyk are all set for war, but before the punches fly, let's dive into the battleground where champions are made. Inside Usyk's training camp, it's pure fire, brutal sparring, mind games, and next-level focus. This isn't just preparation, it's a masterclass in warcraft. Welcome to the chaos behind Usyk's calm. Inside the gym, Usyk gets to work like a man on a mission. He pounds the heavy bag with non-stop combinations, each punch landing with a snap that fills the room. Then it's over to the speed bag, where his hands move so fast it almost looks fake, but it's all timing, focus, and endless repetition. He doesn't stop there. Next up are kettlebell workouts that push every muscle to the edge. Swings, lifts, and squats, all done with serious intensity. There's no showing off, no distractions, just pure effort. Everything he does is designed to build power, speed, and control, making sure that when fight night comes, he's not just ready, he's way ahead of Dubois' game. Watching all this unfold, even someone like Joe Rogan, who's seen countless fighters come and go, couldn't help but show real admiration for Usyk's preparation. It's not just about throwing punches or grinding through workouts. What caught Rogan's attention was how calculated everything Usyk does really is. From the way he throws feints to how he controls distance and slips into angles. It's like watching a chess grandmaster play in the middle of a tornado.
Fighting Usyk again, that's a tough fight. That Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too. He's non-stop movement and his footwork and everything. It's so different than anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him. He's like, where is this guy going to be when I'm throwing punches? He's a heavyweight, and the heavyweights were never really that good in terms of that kind of technique. It's like you need it at like middleweight and light heavyweight because everyone's super talented and technical. Lomachenko and Usyk were trained by the same guy. They were both trained by Lomachenko's father. So they both have extreme technique.
Rogan pointed out how Usyk trains under the same coach who shaped Lomachenko, and you can see it in every move. His footwork, timing, and ability to break rhythm just mess with his opponent's heads. There's no wasted movement, he's fluid, unpredictable, and sharp, which makes him one of the most dangerous heavyweights, not because he's the biggest hitter, but because he's always one step ahead.
Criticism's probably eating him up, probably drives him nuts, and I bet you'll see an entirely different Tyson Fury in this next fight. In this next fight, you will see a focused fucking assassin.
Yes.
But he's fighting the craftiest heavyweight maybe of all time.
Yeah.
Usyk is so slick. He is,
Yes.
I mean, he's the guy who's trained by the same guy that Lomachenko was trained by. So he's got just unbelievable movement. His angles, the way he boxes, his fucking feints and movement, total next level.
And that kind of style doesn't just happen. It's built in training day after day, with drills designed to sharpen the brain as much as the body. Rogan knows that fighters like Fury might come in more focused this time around, but facing Usyk is like trying to solve a puzzle that keeps changing shape. While some critics might underestimate him because of his size or calm personality, Rogan sees through that. He knows those criticisms probably fuel Usyk even more.
Usyk.
Yes.
I think he's incredible.
Incredible.
I mean, I've watched every one of his fights. That dude is on such a different level.
And he's smaller than everybody.
He's fighting giants.
He's fighting giants.
When you're fighting a guy who's 60 pounds heavier with 10 ounce, 12 ounce gloves, it makes such a world of difference. Trying to hurt
Especially
somebody.
when the guy is fucking Anthony Joshua, you know?
But please understand, Usyk fought at, I think, 75 when he started out. He's not a big frame guy.
He's like 225, 230 as a
220,
heavyweight.
220, not even
yeah,
230.
not big. Not big,
And that's
man.
a lot of- he
By
had
the
to
way,
put that
that
weight
was
on.
Tyson's weight when he was in his prime, too.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that, because a 220-pound man like Mike Tyson can knock out any human being that's ever lived.
Yeah, your jaw
The amount of
can't take
power he can generate is insane.
Building on that, Sean Porter sees Usyk as more than just a heavyweight fighter. To him, Usyk has become someone that fighters from almost any weight class can look up to and learn from. Porter believes that Usyk's style and technique are so sharp and well-rounded that they don't just work for heavyweights, they cross over into every division. It's not just about how fast or strong he is, but the way he moves, the timing of his punches, and how he controls the whole fight that sets him apart. According to Porter, Usyk's approach is a perfect example of how boxing isn't just about power, it's about being smart, adaptable, and always thinking a few steps ahead. This kind of skill makes him not only a great fighter, but also someone other boxers can study to improve their own game, no matter what weight they fight at.
He, to me, has become a fighter that just about any weight class can look at and take something from.
Usyk.
Usyk, yes, sir, because he has a style and a technique that kind of crosses over a lot of the weight classes, just like he did, as a professional.
And while Carl Frosch praises Usyk's unbeatable aura and movement in the ring, Eddie Hearn zooms in on what really sets Usyk apart is his mental game. Eddie doesn't hold back. He straight up says, "Mentally, I think he's one of the strongest." And it shows. According to Eddie, Usyk has this incredible psychological edge over his opponents, the kind that gets in your head before the first punch is even thrown. Even when talking about Fury, who's known for his mind games and trash talk, Eddie points out that outside of Usyk, Fury's the best at it. That says a lot, because in Eddie's eyes, Usyk didn't just survive Fury's mental warfare, he outplayed him. And let's not forget, Usyk's entire run at cruiserweight was a world tour of domination. He didn't just win, he did it in other fighters' backyards, on foreign soil, taking titles right out from under their home crowds. That's not just skill, that's a champion with nerves of steel and a mindset built for greatness.
I think mentally, he's one of the strongest. But mentally, I think he has such an incredible edge on people. And Fury is, or outside of Usyk, is the best in terms of the trash talk and the mind games. And he done a job on him, really, I think, in that respect. You know, Usyk, his run in the cruiserweight division, he did most of that on foreign soil in fighters' backyards when he beat them.
That mental strength Eddie Hearn talks about, and Usyk's ability to stay calm, focused, and one step ahead. It doesn't just show up in his stare downs or press conferences. It bleeds into the way he fights. His confidence isn't loud, but it's in every feint, every angle, every inch of space he takes from his opponent. And this is where Demetrious Johnson, one of the most technically gifted fighters in MMA, really taps into what makes Usyk so special. Johnson doesn't just see a heavyweight when he watches Usyk, he sees a master of movement. He points out how Usyk is always in motion, never flat-footed, always flowing. From the very first second of the fight, Usyk is already taking control of the ring. He starts establishing positioning immediately and getting his lead foot outside his opponents, slipping punches. He's digging in body shots before the other guy even settles into a rhythm.
As a heavyweight or even a middleweight in all the belts that he's been able to capture is his movement. His movement, he never stops moving. He has this rhythm that he does outside the void, and he throws a lot of combinations. But look at this movement, how he moves already. That's one of the things that I love about some fighters who love to fight is that they engage right off the rip, right? I'm gonna back it up. He's a southpaw. We get the epic pin out so that I can break this down for you guys. Right off the bat, he throws that two to the body right off the bat, and I love that. It's time to fight. Let's go. Boom, right off the bat.
What's wild is that this isn't a one-round burst of energy. Johnson emphasizes that Usyk keeps this going from round 1 all the way to round 12. No slowing down, no mental lapses, just pure discipline and rhythm. It's not just cardio, it shows his control. Control of space, control of time, and even control of the opponent's decisions. That's what makes Usyk so dangerous. Not just his skill, but his ability to maintain that skill at a high pace while always staying 2 steps ahead.
With Orthodox, you want to establish that the real estate outside of the leg, and he's already doing that. And I don't even think they've been fighting for 2 seconds. Look where his footing is at, outside his lead leg, and already throwing that body shot, slipping that jab, getting inside of the void, and throwing that 2 to the body. Like, this is how he moves from round 1 all the way to round 12. And that's why
And that kind of movement doesn't just happen overnight. It's built through years of intense, unorthodox training. While other heavyweights might be sparring in heated gyms, Usyk takes things to a whole different level. He's out there shadowboxing in sub-zero temperatures, snow falling around him, wearing nothing but a t-shirt and shorts. No gloves, no comfort, just pure focus and rhythm. There are even clips of him shadowboxing while standing on actual ice, barefoot. Try balancing on slippery ice, let alone moving your feet with precision and throwing clean combinations. It's wild, but it's part of his process. These drills sharpen his footwork, boost his balance, and build the kind of mental grit that separates him from everyone else. It's no wonder he keeps that same bounce, that same elusive rhythm from round 1 to round 12.
Hey.
When it comes to the Evander, Holyfield doesn't just see Oleksandr Usyk as another name in the heavyweight division. He ranks him among the top 5 or 10 heavyweights of all time. That's serious respect coming from a legend who's been at the top himself. But here's the thing, Evander knows that staying on top isn't just about talent or wins. It's about what you do in training every single day. He talks about his own experience. After losing to Riddick Bowe, he didn't just accept defeat. He came back stronger, training harder, focused on proving he was still a champion. That's the kind of mindset Holyfield believes Usyk has, too.
Is Oleksandr Usyk a top 5, top 10, or even higher heavyweight of all time?
I would think so. I think so because the fact, as long as you keep winning. I thought things were different when I lost against Riddick Bowe. I came back and beat it. And so it's the whole big thing. You don't know how good you get to somebody top you. But, you can't get lazy while you're there, though. And you'll find that a lot of people tend to get lazy when they get to the top, but I don't think Usyk that way.
How would you and Oleksandr Usyk have done in the ring? What would have happened?
I think it would have been a great fight because it'd be a great fight because we both fight alike. We both throw a lot of.
Because hitting the top is one thing, but staying there, that's where many fighters slip up. They get lazy, thinking the hard work is done. But Evander says Usyk is different. He's still grinding in the gym, pushing himself, sharpening his skills, and refusing to settle. So when you picture Usyk training, it's not just physical drills, it's also about mental battles. Every session is about maintaining that hunger and focus, the same drive that keeps legends in the fight long after the spotlight shines.
Where do you put Oleksandr Usyk amongst the greats?
Well, Usyk definitely got to be one of the top three. Because, you know, I'm telling you, he's always in shape. I'm telling you, he don't make no excuses. And you know, and he works hard. I'm saying, and life, that's what life is all about. This is what you try to tell the fighters. Okay, you win, you get a good run, and you 21 and 22 and 0. But every time are you in the best shape all the time, or are you going down because you think that everybody just gonna allow you to win? Don't nobody allow you to win. You won because you won. But as soon as you make a adjustment.
Eddie Atlas breaks it down perfectly when he says Usyk is that rare kind of fighter who could thrive in any era. He's not just a powerhouse in one specific area, he's the full package. Technically, mentally, physically solid across the board. When you think about training, that means Usyk isn't just drilling one or two skills. He's balancing everything. There's no weak spot he has to cover up for. His technique is sharp, his conditioning top-notch, and mentally, he's locked in, focused like a true champion. Atlas even shares a lesson from his mentor, that the highest praise you could give a fighter was that they were simply solid. Solid means reliable, consistent, able to step into the ring on any night and go toe-to-toe with anyone, and that's exactly the kind of fighter Usyk is.
He got, if not a little better. But yeah, he's the kind of guy, you said it well, you know the game. He's the kind of guy could have lived in any era because he's a full package. He's technically solid. He's mentally solid. You know, he's got the physical gifts. He's not great in one area, but he's very good in every area. There's not one area you say, oh, he's bad in. He's got to make up for it in another area because he's weak in that area. No, he's solid. And you know what? Back in the day with my mentor, Costamato, he used to say the greatest compliment you could give a fighter back in the day was that he's solid. He's a solid guy. On any night, he can fit in with anyone. This guy can fit in with anyone because he's solid physically, solid technically.
Even at 37, when most fighters start to slow down, Eddie points out Usyk still looks fresh. That means his training isn't just about staying alive in the sport, it's about pushing forward, improving, and ready for the next challenge. So you can imagine Usyk's camp. Every workout, every drill, every sparring session, it is all about keeping that balance, that solidity that makes him a true all-around fighter.
Does Oleksandr Usyk fit now in the scheme of the greatest of all time? I'm going to tell you this. There's great ones, let's not forget. There's great ones in this great history of this sport, this great sport that's been around so long. There's a history of people like I said earlier, like Joe Louis and Jack Johnson and Rocky Marciano and Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, and it just, you know, you could just go on and on. Larry Holmes, who was there, who I flew home with me, and my son flew home with him and his beautiful wife Diane, and Tyrone, his brother-in-law. But so you could go on and on. Usyk belongs on that list. He has put himself on that list as one of the greatest winners, period, of any generation.
His training reflects that balance. No weak points, all-around skill, and the mental toughness to keep grinding no matter the stakes. That's why he's not just a great cruiserweight champion stepping up to heavyweight, but a top-tier fighter who belongs in any era. What do you think? Who's got the edge in this matchup? Usyk with his slick skills and iron mind, or Dubois with his knockout power and hunger to prove himself? Let us know in the comments below.